everyone, it's Review Monday, the first Review Monday when I will be reviewing something other than a book. Today I will be reviewing the Star Trek movie. Now, the Star Trek movie is the story of the original series crew, Kirk, Spock, McCoy, all those guys, and basically how they all found each other and their first mission together. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the essence. This is the 11th Star Trek movie, and it's simply titled Star Trek, but as it happens, it's not the only one of the Star Trek movies that just is titled Star Trek. The first one was also just titled Star Trek. And that movie was about the original crew a couple of years after their television series mission ended, and a mission they went on then. And so this review, in addition to reviewing the new Star Trek movie, it's also going to kind of compare it to the first Star Trek movie. Now, the nice thing about the most recent Star Trek movie is that it can be enjoyed by Trekkies and non-Trekkies. It doesn't matter if you've never seen a single episode of Star Trek in your life, or if you've been following the series since its beginning, it doesn't matter. You should enjoy this movie. Because it's a prequel, because it happened before any of the other events of Star Trek, there's not a lot of canon stuff. I mean, you can watch it without needing to know the series and still enjoy it. On the other hand, for those of us who did watch the original series of Star Trek, there's plenty in there for us to enjoy. Like the moment when we first meet Dr. McCoy, we know, even before we see him, if you watch the original series, you know it's Dr. McCoy. And that's one of the major ways in which it's different from the first Star Trek movie, because the first Star Trek movie really was for the fans. The show had been canceled, the fans raised an almighty uproar, and so they made this movie for them, with all the characters that they had fallen in love with the ship that they had fallen in love with, on another mission. It was basically an extended episode of Star Trek, the original series. And now the thing about the first Star Trek movie is that they really wanted to show off their new technology. I mean, you look at the episodes of the original series and what passed for special effects in those days, it was all quite, as Hank very aptly put it, hilariously bad. 10 years had passed between the end of Star Trek the original series and the premiere of Star Trek the motion picture. And so they had made all sorts of strides in the field of special effects, and they wanted to show these off. To that end, when we first see the Enterprise, that sequence of them flying into the Enterprise lasts about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of nothing, no dialogue, nothing, just a few close-ups of William Shatner and James Doohan, and then the rest of it is these magnificent vistas and the music. That's it. It's enough to put you right to sleep at the beginning of the movie. And there are a lot of those where there's just this magnificent dead space because they want to show off their visuals. With the new movie, they really focus more on the story and the relationships of the characters, more than the science fiction-y element. Now, they did do a little bit of that with the first Star Trek movie, particularly with Spock, but really they didn't focus too much on it. And so that's one of the major reasons why the newest Star Trek movie is more appealing to non-Trekkies. Because if you're not a fan of Star Trek, what you're seeing are these characters, these diverse characters meeting and forming new relationships. And it's a great story. And if you are a Trekkie, then you are seeing these characters that you have grown up with and have learned to love meeting for the first time, which we had not had an opportunity to see before. And so I'm very excited about the new Star Trek movie. I really do think that it's Gene Roddenberry's dream realized in the fullest extent. And with that, I will predictably say, live long and prosper, and I'll see you next time. Bye.